We are back here, folks, at Road America. Rob Howden alongside Elliot Forbes Robinson, John Bizignano down on pit lane. And what you're seeing right now is our GT2 drivers getting set to go for their national championship run, looking for a good weekend here of racing. We got our national champions in the hunt here as well. Jim Goffrey back again in the number 46. Dwayne Davis right there as well. Let's talk a little bit, EFR, about the GT2 class.
You know, this class is, again, the tube frame cars, silhouette bodies. But when they say silhouette bodies, that means the body is just stuck onto a race frame that the guys had. It looks like the car you buy. It doesn't necessarily have all the attributes of the car you've seen in the street. It's a specially made body. The tube frame is a specially made frame for the car, the way the guys want to make it. You design your own, put your own suspension on it. Now, the Porsche 996, though, is still the chassis that comes with the car. That is one that the guys are running with the car as it is. The other cars have actually made tube frames in the car.
Now, this is going to be another one of these races where we've got different manufacturers and different performance characteristics. Some guys are going to be quicker on the straightaway. Some guys are going to be quicker through the carousel or through the kink. Again, another one of these races where we're going to see guys that may be faster in certain places and then get totally gapped on the straightaway. But let's throw it down to John Bizignano on pit lane for a little update.
Back in 5th place, Scott Ferguson, number 65. It's his first year driving, his first year in SCCA competition, his first year at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Now, maybe for him being in 5th place, he's achieved what many drivers couldn't have done with years and years of competition at Elkhart Lake and within the SCCA. He's one of the few drivers I go and talk to on the grid, and he says, "I'm really nervous. Man, I've never driven with such fast people before." And I said, "Just sit back and learn from them, and you'll be just fine." He says, "Well, I just wanted to see what they're going to do and try and drive my own race." 5th place qualifying at the Runoffs, first year of competition. Pretty good, EFR.
So our GT2s getting out of the racetrack. We'll see them do some tire scrubbing here to see if they can't get some heat built into their tires here. Expect a really good race from our GT2s. 11 championships in all in GT2 competition on the front row. Dwayne Davis with 8 titles in 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 2001, 2002, and 2005.
Boy, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's pretty impressive to see him do so well.
And, you know, we got cars in here. Just watching it, looking down the list here, we got a 914.6 in here. They haven't made them since 1971. You know, and here's somebody out here with a 914.6 going racing with this group of these silhouette cars, new cars, all this fancy stuff. And that Porsche from 1970 is still out there. It's been around for a while.
Good looking race car for sure. A 1946 belonging to Jim Blakewell of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the number 02. We'll make sure we key on that lift. There he is there coming through the turn 5 corner. Open cockpit car.
And the Tiger goes back to that same era.
Yeah,
that Tiger's been around for a long time.
And it's right up there in 6th spot with Tom Patton.
Yeah, that car is kind of late 60s, you know, so it's in the same era as that the car. So, you know, we've got cars back there that are from, gosh, they're 40 years old. That the guys have, you know, you can still make it the way you want to, but that's lets a guy run a car that he wants to run, that he always liked, and says, "I think I can make this car competitive."
Yeah, it may be 40 years old on the outside, but you guarantee there's some brand new componentry underneath.
Yeah, I think the car's pretty new. I think it never went that fast in that day.
I think the car is pretty new. A lot of good hot rod pieces in that car. This is GT2, as we explained earlier. Tube frame cars. These are purpose-built race cars for GT racing. All total racing suspension, racing gearbox, high-performance motors. This is going to be a really good run here as we get set to go for GT2. They'll work their way down through the carousel, start bringing themselves side by side over to Canada Corner, and we'll get them green next time by.
And you can kind of notice too that some of the guys have built cars that are kind of narrow-bodied with not much fender flare, and some of the other cars are very wide-bodied car. And again, it's a choice of the guys to figure out, well, you know, I want this wide stance on this car, and it's going to be more stable. And another guy's going for the fact says, I think I can make it work in the corners, but I want it fast down the straight. It's the same as with the wings. You see cars here with wings, without wings. You see cars with narrow, some cars with wide bodies. But that's the way the class works, because it is a class of how you think it's going to do, build the car the way you think it's going to be best.
That is one of the things about GT2 racing. Everybody said has a different approach to how to go fast here. And of course, different approach to how to go fast at Topeka is a different approach to how to go fast at Road America.
Well, isn't that
drastically different racetracks?
Absolutely, because you have so many more things here you have to think about. One that just comes glaring is the long straightaways that you have to get up the long straightaways and have a car that's quick there.
So GT2 drivers now up on the throttle, working their way up through Billy Mitchell Bend, because the leaders have decided to get right up in behind the pace car. We're setting up 2x2 here. There it is on the inside. It'll be the 11 of Dwayne Davis. Your pole sitter on the outside, the number 46 of Jim Godfrey. Looking to go racing here now as they'll cruise up the hill. The pace car will peel off, and away it goes. This race now in the hands of Dwayne Davis. He will set the pace as they come up the hill. We're looking at the start-finish line. They got a good pace coming up the hill. We're going to go to green quickly. We are. Green, green, green.
Well, that's one of the fastest starts we've had all weekend, and I guess he figured with the distance we've got up here, and you can see how the draft is working, that's changing around as they're going up there, but it sure looks like Davis is getting...
Jerry Mason, I believe, in the lead.
Whoa, what a jump he got into turn one.
Wow, Jerry Mason, your leader, into turn number one. What an amazing jump there. Dwayne Davis into second spot, one of our GT3 Porsches, in now to third position, as in fact Godfrey falling all the way back to fourth. But what a rabid start right there for Jerry Mason.
Mason has just had the confidence that that car was going to stick when he got there, and I think everybody else on the cold tires is going, I'm going to go in there easy. But boy, he didn't. He just jumped up for it and went for it at that time. We'll see if they can catch back up with him here in a little bit.
What a great start, able to get going. Oh, driver off into the rumbles here, able to get back on the throttle. So Mason getting a great jump out there. Dwayne Davis tucking into the second spot. Over here.
Yeah, it looks like Davis is a little hesitant right now, or his car isn't working well on the cold tires, because he's actually backing everybody up as he goes around with him. It looks like Mark Bowden is actually running right there in third place at the moment.
That is Bowden in the third spot, but he's going to go for second to the inside of Davis. He's got it. Book it. He's through. Mark Bowden in the GT3 goes to second spot to start chasing after Jerry Mason here in the number 4 machine. The Nissan 300ZX out front. Davis still on the throttle there, but he's got more. Getting pushed there by one of the other Porsches, so then it's Godfrey back into 5th position.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, we had talked just before the start that Mason was actually the fastest guy in the second day. And, you know, maybe he made some changes for the last day that didn't work, because right now, I'd say it's working.
An unbelievably opening lap here right now. He's been able to run away here.
We don't even see him. He's gone up the hill.
Say, where is he?
He's headed out. Look at that guy go.
That is certainly a big lead right now for Jerry Mason in the number 4 out of Fishers, Indiana. Look at him.
And Bowden, our 4th fastest qualifier, has jumped into second and seems to be able to pull away from our fast qualifier right now, Davis. But Mason is amazing his first lap. This is how do you have the faith to jump into turn one at that speed? You know, they're side by side, and then everybody hit the brakes, and he took off.
Oh, no, that's Dwayne Davis. Dwayne Davis off in turn 14. 8-time national champion, and your pole sitter off the racetrack in turn 14. This will not be number 9 for Dwayne Davis today. Something went awfully wrong there for Dwayne Davis.
You know, it looked like he was struggling that whole lap. You know, it just didn't, you know, as fast as he was in the qualifying, it didn't make sense that he was out there having people all over the backside of him and everything. You know, it just looked like he was uneasy with what's going on. Ooh,
another driver off here, one of our Panos cars.
Turn 1.
That is turn 1. Possibly the 22 of Alex Clayman off in turn number 1. He's got some bodywork damage at the back of that car. I wonder if someone got into the rear of him going into the corner to have that the bodywork off like that.
That or just got it ripped off by the sand up in the sand trap there. And
well, a heck of a start here right now, folks. Jerry Mason, your leader. Mark Bowden into second. Mark Jurczyk all the way from 8th up into 3rd in that other Porsche. Then it's Jim Godfrey in 4th spot. Tom Patton in 5th. Brooks Plotter in 6th. Michael Mills in 7th. Tim Gray, Michael Wheeler, and Gerson Rosenberg rounding out your top 10. But I cannot believe it. We have lost our pole sitter, Dwayne Davis, out in turn number 14. Like you said, not a great opening lap for Davis. Maybe there was an issue, something with the car. to have him go straight off in 14.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right because he seemed to be braking early for 1. He broke early for 5. It just seemed, and then he was passed in 8 when he broke early. So I think that he was just having some sort of issue because Bowden just went by him quite easily. It looks like we've got Porsches in 2nd and 3rd right now. It looks like he's closing down on Mason.
But what an opening lap, though, for Jerry Mason, a 2:24.4. Everyone else at 2:26.7, 2:27.8, everybody else in the 2:30s. He's 6 seconds faster than a bunch of these drivers on the opening lap.
It was a heck of an opening lap, and it looks like these guys are not letting him get away any further. If not catching him, they're holding him at bay right now. We'll see if Mason's able to keep up this pace or whether Bowden is able to come back to him.
2.4 seconds the gap last time by that first run through here for Mason, but Mark Bowden in the number 96 cuts it down to less than 1.5 seconds. Bowden does a 2:21.3. Mark Jurczyk right there at 2:21.7. Both drivers making up a lot of time on Jerry Mason here to kick things off.
Yeah, Jurczyk up from the 8th spot to 3rd spot and closing.
What a great start for Mark Jurczyk in that Porsche GT3. Another driver off. We have a driver off here on the inside of turn 1.
Oh, it's the 50 car. That's the
Sunbeam Tiger. Oh, that's our leader. That's the leader smoking there right now. Dwayne Davis.
Mason is
Yes, Jerry Mason has just blown up.
My, this race is just changing in the matter of minutes, and
what a heartbreak for Jerry Mason. A fantastic start, a great lap, a 1.5 second lead at the end of lap number 2, and that Nissan 300ZX is done for the day. This is going to put Mark Bowden into the lead, and Mark Jurczyk, who started 8th, into 2nd spot on lap number 3.
Isn't it amazing? He's going very well now. If he can close up, it looks like Bowden's going awful fast. Bowden was a little bit faster than Jurczyk last time around by about 1/2 second. But in saying that, Jurczyk also had to get by Goffrey on that same lap. So, he had some work to do. So maybe he's able to pick it up. We'll find out if he's able to pick it up or whether Bowden just has the car for this race.
We also lost Tom Patton, as you saw, in the Sunbeam Tiger number 50 out in turn number 1. Big plume of smoke as well as he pulled down to the inside of 1. So the Tigers out of this one as well. So 2 of our competitors in the top 6 at that point after lap number 2 will not make it to the start-finish line to complete lap number 3. Both drivers out of this one, and has handed the lead to a couple of Porsches as Jerry Mason is out. Mark Bowden now your leader in the number 96. Jurczyk runs 2nd in the number 2, and Jim Goffrey, your reigning champion in the Nissan 350, now finds himself in 3rd spot.
Well, I'll tell you what, just staying out of trouble this first couple laps is going to help you a lot in this race. Now they're coming up to start-finish line now. We'll be able to see if Bowden is able to make that gap a little bit bigger to 2nd place, or whether we've got Jurczyk coming back at him.
About 6/10 of a second faster, Bowden over Jurczyk, spreading out to a 2.5 second lead right now. So Mark Bowden in the 96 doing everything right here in the early stages of this GT2 race.
Yeah, it looks like he's able to do that, but it also looks like Goffrey's able to close back in on Jurczyk just a little bit. So he's going to have to watch behind if he can't catch Bowden to hold on to that 2nd place.
Well, we definitely shook up the top 10 in that last run through as we lost 2 drivers, both Jerry Mason and Tom Patton out of the race as well. But this has put Mark Bowden up front as your leader. Mark Jurczyk runs 2nd in the number 2. Jim Goffrey 3rd in the 46. Michael Mills 4th in the 44. Tim Gray into 5th spot. And here's the 0-3 into pit lane. That's Brooks Potter. Brooks Potter, another one of the Porsche GT3 cars, out of the race as well. He was 11th across the line, but he's going to go down to the tail of the field as well. A surprising amount of attrition early on in the race here at EFR.
It is. We haven't had this kind of problems in any of the races. We've had actually very reliable cars. We've got a pass there.
A couple Porsches going at it further back.
Trying to repass.
See if we can get a number on that to give you one of the names. Battle for 5th spot right now. That'll be the 60 of Tim Gray and the 88 of Mike Wheeler going at it. A couple Porsches having a good dice here as they work their way down to turn number 8.
Well, they are going back and forth, that's for sure. And then I guess, they're pretty equal. It's, you don't see guys pass this much normally. I mean, where you make a pass, you can usually make it stick, but it looks like the 88 car is able to pull away just a bit. Wheeler's getting away from Gray, but they're running very close. And
great start as well for the number 44 of Michael Mills. He started in 11th position, now finds himself up in 4th spot right now.
And Rosenberg is right now right on the back of Gray, so it looks like he's going to have his hands full of that right now. So I don't know if he's just slowing. When he was passed, he's lost the toe now from in front, but being caught from behind.
And you were right about Jim Goffrey closing up here on Mark Jurczyk. He was about a second faster than Jurczyk last time by. Goffrey's car just starting to come in at 2:21.3. He closes up to within a half a second. In fact, a full second quicker than your leader as well. Jim Goffrey, let's see if he's got a strategy to have that car come in later on in the race. We're only 4 laps in right now. Goffrey was over 5 seconds back just 2 laps ago. Now cuts it down to less than 4 seconds, the advantage between first and third.
Yeah, they both caught Bowden just a little tiny bit, just a couple tenths, but it looks like they're picking up the pace. And truthfully, Jurczyk has to pick up the pace if he wants to finish in second place.
Goffrey was a full second faster than your leader, Mark Bowden. A 2:22.4 for Bowden, a 2:21.34 for Jim Goffrey. So he is closing up here, that number 46. Now, not able to do anything here, but as we've seen with these Nissans, let's see how quick he is through the carousel.
Yeah,
they've been good.
They have been, notably yesterday, they were the fastest cars through the carousel.
Goffrey, your reigning champion, the number 46, the driver out of Houston, Texas. Nissan 350, a 2:19.9 in qualifying, down to a 2:21.3 right now.
And Bowden's got traffic ahead of him in the carousel. I don't know how much it's going to affect him, but he got by it. Let's see if this affects Jurczyk coming through here. Now, car pulled out of the way. Good job by the slower car.
Let's see if this will allow Goffrey to close up. He's within maybe a length, maybe 2 lengths. They worked their way through the kink. Maybe a length. Very quick through the kink as well. Look for Goffrey to tuck out here to the right once they get through this first little bit here. He will. He'll look a bit to the right. Let's see if he has a move coming in. No, still far enough away. Can't make anything. Actually, but defensive move there for Jurczyk as well.
Defensive move by Jurczyk.
Jurczyk just came over a bit to the right there. A little early, but I think he just wants to hold him back to see if he can't get another run up the straightaway.
A lot of race left to be blocking somebody a little bit. I just think that at this time, if the guy's a little bit faster than you, maybe you should go ahead and let him by and just follow him around for a little bit, because you don't want to be driving with your mirrors right now, because if you start defensive driving now, it's just going to give the leader a big advantage.
Yeah, Mark Bowden had a really good lap there, 2:21.6, stretched the gap out to over 3.5 seconds again as these guys are dicing it up a little bit. Goffrey really needs to get by here. Has some trouble coming through one as he looked to the inside, not going to get the run out of there.
Yeah, but it's, if you, to be defensive lines at this time, it's holding up both guys. You have no shot at catching the leader. And the lap before, they actually closed in on the leader. Now they're losing a lot because they're starting to play games.
Well, Jurczyk obviously getting a defensive already, as we've said. He's been in the middle of the racetrack, both in Canada corner and coming over to 14. Goffrey needs to displace Jurczyk very quickly if he wants to work through here. And in fact, Jurczyk fast from turn 3 to turn 5, and again, drives right down the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, maybe even to the left side. He didn't even need to at that time because Goffrey was far enough back, but I guess he's worried about that. Now Goffrey is getting to the section where he's a little bit faster. So he's going to come up, but the hard part is there's not a lot of places to pass here unless you do it at Canada corner. 8 maybe, but he's not close enough.
And he doesn't get quite enough of a run out of turn number 7 to be able to get that run down the inside. In fact, look to the inside again, trying to fill the mirrors of Jurczyk just to see if he can get him to possibly lay a small error down in turn number 8, which would help him get a run through 9.
Jurczyk's raced a little bit, and I think that he'll probably be able to handle the pressure, I would think. But, we saw some guys yesterday that got a lot of pressure and just were a little bit late on the brakes and lost the spot anyway because they weren't able to turn down. We'll see what happens here. No, still not close enough.
Goffrey looks really good coming through the kink. He's like he closes up on him, but I think right after the kink, it seems like Jersik's able just to stretch enough away that Goffrey not in the position to try that late break maneuver into Canada corner where he can take the spot.
Yeah, in the meantime, Bowden, it looks like he's driving away, and it's going to be very tough for them to catch him. See the defensive line coming into 14 a little bit. It's going to cost them going up the straight. But it looks like the Porsche is quite quick up the straight, and that's what's giving... Well, Goffrey's going to go for it. No.
Not with the Porsche. Yeah, that Porsche starts to stretch its legs. He's just got to tuck back inside. Again, we've seen this in so many of these categories. GT classes, we've seen it in the touring classes, in the showroom stock class. The differences in the race cars obviously have different performance aspects. And this Porsche obviously has some pretty good top-end speed. Goffrey doing what he can to stay with him. He's quicker, of course, through the carousel. Just not enough to make that move over in Canada corner.
Yeah, and if you look, it looks... it looks maybe deceiving, but it looks like the Porsche is just a little bit narrower car and maybe a little less frontal area so that down the straightaway it can carry the speed. But on the other hand, Goffrey's car is really good in the back section of Giant. Now, Goffrey's pretty close this time. I think that Jersik will probably take a defensive line coming into 5 again. Yeah, he is. Now he's going to the outside to take the line in the corner because he did have enough of a lead on Goffrey at that time.
Mark Bowden turns in another great lap at 221.4 to stretch his lead to over 4 seconds. There's your leader right now, the number 96 Fall Line GT3 Porsche of Mark Bowden. Your leader in the 96, taking it down here into turn number 8. Mark Jerzik runs in the second position. Jim Goffrey in third. 4th spot right now is Wheeler. 5th is Michael Mills. 6th is Tim Gray. 7th is Gerson Rosenberg. 8th is Bill Ullman. 9th is Bob Lentz. And Charlie Cook rounding out the top 10 in the number 21.
Yeah, Bowden's just out hoping those guys just keep doing what they're doing because they can run the lap times, and I think Daughtry for sure. Daughtry can run his lap times, but as long as they keep racing each other, they have no chance. And he's going to get a big enough lead that even if Daughtry gets around, he's not going to be able to close in on him.
From where we are here right now, just about the halfway point, Goffrey just doesn't seem to have quite enough to be able to get by Mark Jerzik here today. He's putting the pressure on consistently. Jerzik hasn't really, I don't think he's even been into the 221s yet. But no. Goffrey has, but just not enough. He was, what, a 10th faster on the last lap, but just not in the right places.
No, but when you're stuck behind somebody, you're going to turn the lap times they're turning, and that's what he's doing right now. I think he has more in the car. If he could somehow get by, I think he'd go away. But it's very hard when you have a car that's not quite up to the stuff up the straightaway to pass somebody, because the best spots to pass are 1 and 5, and maybe at Canada corner. So you have to have something that's going to get down the straight fast. Now he's closed right in. Now taking a shot down the inside, I don't think he can do it. They don't want to be defensive in this corner because this costs you all the way down the longest straight on the track.
Jerzik the first time into the 221s with a 221.6, but likewise Mark Bowden now dips into the 220s to stretch that gap to over 5 seconds after 7 laps. Let's have a look at your top 10 here, folks. Mark Bowden up top right now with the number 96. Mark Jerzik runs in second. And that number 2 machine, Jim Goffrey, putting the pressure on Jerzik in third in the 46. Michael Wheeler by himself. Actually, no, Michael Wheeler with a challenge from Michael Mills right now in 4th and 5th. Tim Gray right there in 6th spot. Gerson Rosenberg in 7th. Bill Ullman in 8th. Bob Lentz in 9th. And Charlie Cook rounding out your top 10. 7 laps down. 6 laps remaining here in GT2. Stay tuned. We got the final of this race, the final circuits, just on the other side of this break, as you are watching the SCCA National Championship Runoffs live on SpeedcastTV.com.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
Welcome back to Road America. In front of you right now, the GT2 class. 7 laps down, 6 to go. This is the battle for second place here. It is Mark Jerzik in the number 2 and Jim Goffrey in the 46 having at it. Goffrey's just been pushing Jersick as much as possible, just has not been able to find a way through. There's what happened there. Brake lock up?
It sure looked like it. It looked like they locked up a rear brake, and oh no, that grass didn't have a lot of grip.
Trouble there for Jim Goffrey, your reigning champion. On the outside of turn number 14, not a great place to be. He's going to pull back on here. Has not yet been passed by anyone. They were about 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Let's see if he's able to get this thing spooled back up and holds on to third position. It looked to me like he just overcooked it, wanted to get a really good run on the straightaway and lock up the rear brakes.
Yeah, it sure looked like that to me. It was kind of interesting whether he got one of the wheels out in the grass because he was out wide, or whether it was just locking up a rear. But that smoke off the rear was sure looked like he locked up a wheel.
Car getting a little bit loose as they worked his way out there and just went all the way around and able to get back on the racetrack, get the car refired. Goffrey holds on to that third position, still 20 seconds over, almost 20 seconds ahead of fourth and fifth. The top three drivers really had pulled away from the remainder of the field. So Goffrey's going to hold on to that third spot, but that battle we had for second, no longer. Mark Jersick is going to be able to just cruise home to second spot and actually maybe start focusing forward. He was always having to look back at Goffrey the whole time. Maybe now he can put his head down and start working forward. The margin up between first and second now with, 5 laps to go, only 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's not much for what's happened, and Jersick may be able to put that in, but when he had the free track before, he didn't seem to be able to do that. And now Goffrey has got to get that grass and, as Hobbs would say, clag off his tires so that he can get the car working again. So I don't expect him to turn a really fast lap this next lap, but we'll see if he has the car to go up. But he's lost a lot of time now. He's 20 seconds back from Jersick right now.
That's the 60 of Tim Gray we saw coming through turn 5, and here he is here. Tim Gray battling it with Michael Mills in the Esperante number 44, the Panos. So they're going at it here for a spot in the top 5. That's 5th and 6th right there. Just further up is Michael Wheeler in the number 88, currently running in the 4th position. Good start for Wheeler, man. He started back in 13th position in his Porsche GT3. Now finds himself up into 4th spot. A great driver. There's a driver off there. That looks like the exit of turn number 3. That's the number 85.
Patrick Cox.
Tough one for Patrick Cox. He started 18th and had worked his way up into the 11th position. But then a spin at the exit of 3.
Well, I'll tell you, Wheeler shouldn't give up hope. The way it's been going so far, he could still get a podium in this thing. You just never know what's going to happen next. You wouldn't expect Goffrey, who's the champion, to make a mistake like that and have it go off. Or maybe he was caught out a little bit. Maybe Jersick just stopped a little bit more going into the corner than he expected, got on the brakes to keep from getting into him to get his run, and had a problem. It's hard to tell from out here what exactly happened, but whatever happened, we know he got the car around and had a problem.
Here's Goffrey coming up the straightaway by himself, all alone. 22 seconds behind Jersick and probably about 16 or 17 seconds ahead of Michael Wheeler in the 88. So Goffrey all alone on the racetrack now, currently 3rd. Bowden still leading by 7 seconds now, as he was over a second faster than Mark Jersick the last time. You know what? The bottom line here is we keep wondering if Jersick's going to be able to close up. It's just not going to happen. Mark Bowden is just that fast.
Yeah, unless Bowden has a problem right now or makes a mistake, I think that he's not going to be caught, because he's doing a heck of a job out there right now and running. Every time we show him, he's on the line doing it right. We don't see him locking up wheels. He's good in traffic. Right now, he's under control, and if he just doesn't make a mistake, he's got it, and he's still faster laps than anybody in the race is turning.
Yeah, 20.85 last time by, just about 7/10 off of his fast lap in qualifying. So Bowden looking very good up front. Like we said, some guys may be able to step up to try to race with them, but when you're that fast up front and getting the job done yourself, you don't give anyone a chance even to close back up in. Mark Bowden in the 96. We'll see 3 to go next time by, working lap number 10 right now. Just a flawless performance thus far for Mark Bowden. Mark Jersick runs in 2nd, Jim Goffrey in 3rd, Mike Wheeler in 4th spot, Tim Gray in 5th, Michael Mills in 6th spot, Gerson Rosenberg in 7th, Bill Allman, Bob Letts, and now Jim Blakewell up into the top 10. Blakewell started 9th but fell back in his Porsche 914, but has worked his way back into the top 10 now, so a good run for him thus far.
Yeah, this class being a class for silhouette cars, go ahead and build them. This is a car that comes from the factory with that body and that chassis, so it's a good way to go and you know, Porsche's been great cars for a lot of years, and they still build good ones. I've driven the this 996, and it's a great car to drive. He's driving it well, and Bowden is looking like he's just going to take this championship.
It's all about hitting his marks. Entry, apex, and exit looking very good. As we said, Mark Bowden in the number 96 has been unchallenged for the start of this race when he was able to get through, and after the blow-up of Jerry Mason. Remember, Jerry Mason, the number 4, took a monster lead off the start, but so maybe one of those times where that motor starts to go really good before it explodes.
Yeah, it might have been, because boy, it was humming. He actually built up a good lead and was very fast, but still impressed with the way he took turn 1 and actually took it to everybody the first lap of the race when everybody was on cold tires. But it looks like Goffrey is not actually catching much. He was a little bit faster than Jersick that time, but not enough to make a difference. It's only 2/10, not anything to speak of.
No, that's not going to happen. Jersick with a very big cushion now over third spot. Jim Goffrey, that's him here running the number 2 machine through 7. He'll work his way down here to turn number 8. So it's Porsche sitting 1-2 here right now with Mark Bowden and Mark Jersick. Bowden in the 96, Jersick here in the orange and black number 2 machine. Jersick had been challenged pretty aggressively by Jim Goffrey, but Goffrey just did not seem to have enough form, and in fact drove his Nissan off the track in turn number 14 in pursuit. Has been able to hold on to the third spot right now as they had built such a gap up over the next crew. Still 20 seconds between Goffrey and Mike Wheeler in the number 88 running in the 4th spot. So barring any mechanical issues or driver error, the top 3 looks pretty set here right now, separated by 8 seconds for first and second and 21 seconds between second and third. So not much to battle on here when it comes to the podium.
No, there looks like unless something happens to someone or they get caught in some problem, they're going to be in the positions they are. And Goffrey right now, there's no reason to really stand on the gas and turn really blinding laps right now, because to make up that 20 seconds in a matter of 3 laps, it's going to be really, really tough. So I don't think it's going to happen. So he just needs to go on, just get his spot on the box, get a podium position out of this, and forget it now and just run some good laps. Because right now he's still running 2 seconds faster than the guy behind him. And he's a little off the guys in front still. But it looked like Jersick had a little bit slower lap that time, whether it was traffic or whatever. He was off the pace a little bit. And then Goffrey coming up to start-finish line now. We'll take a look and see what kind of lap time he's turning.
2:22.08, good lap.
Yep.
Still 30 seconds behind our leader, though, as Mark Bowden turned a 2:21 flat, 2:21.09. Very quick for Mark Bowden. 2 laps to go. They'll show him the 1-lap board this time by for Mark Bowden. Just a flawless performance out front thus far, out to about an 11-second lead over Mark Jersick. There's Michael Wheeler across the line. Tim Gray and Michael Mills in the Panos. Now that battle could continue on here. Michael Mills still a couple tenths off of Tim Gray there. That's the battle for 6th spot.
But you know, at the same time, Gray, who was only just a couple seconds behind Wheeler, picked up about 8 tenths on that lap. So, you know, we might have a fight for that 4th spot here pretty quickly. He's if he keeps picking, you know, 1 second lap isn't enough where they are right now, but you know, anything could happen.
That's right, getting the draft here.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff go on in this race. You can see he's not far behind Wheeler.
So that's the number 60 of Tim Gray, running into 5th position, trying to close up on 4th, as is Michael Mills in the 44 Panos right there. That is 4th, 5th, and 6th right together here, as we're on our penultimate lap, just 2 to go here in GT2. Mark Bowden out front, as we said, in the 96. Mark Jersick has it in 2nd, Jim Goffrey in 3rd, but this is this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Mike Wheeler in the 88, Tim Gray in the 60, and Michael Mills in the 44. And as EFR said, Gray was about 8 tenths of a, full 8 tenths of a second faster than Wheeler the last time by. 2.2 seconds the gap between 4th and 5th.
So it's, you know, at a second lap, it's going to be right there at the finish, you know. And if the draft has any play in it at all, then it could be sooner.
I'll tell you, Michael Mills not giving up there either as well in the Panos number 44, just a couple of car lengths off. So the last lap board has been given to this driver here. The 96 of Mark Bowden is going to bring it down here to turn number 3. Final lap for Bowden. Not put a wheel wrong all race long. Has been very strong up front. Just putting down great laps. Another 2:22.8. Pulls him out to a 12-plus second lead right now over Mark Jurczyk. We're going to continue to watch this battle, though, for 4th and 5th and 6th.
And Goff returns a good lap in the 21s that time, so he's got the car running again, got the stuff off the tires and going well.
All right, here comes our drivers up the hill here. That's Tim Gray we're looking at. Oh, that's not Tim Gray. I believe that's the 544 now, Michael Mills. Gray had an issue. Yeah, Gray backed up to a 225.
And now the Panos has got a problem.
Something wrong with the Panos. You're right. He had turned a good lap and it closed into within a couple seconds himself. Now he's struggling a little bit, but back on song.
Why did he back off on the straight? That was a strange deal. I don't know what happened there.
Sounds like maybe having some gearbox issues there with the Panos not able to get into gear. Oh, a tough one for him. The number 44 of Michael Mills, the Taxmaster Racing Panos Esperante, number 44, had moved into 5th position, but having trouble with the gears as they worked their way up. Same trouble for Tim Gray. He backed up to a 225. So here's these two guys that were ready. Looks like they may be able to battle Mike Wheeler for 4th, and technical issues going to keep them back in 5th and 6th.
Yeah, it's like Wheeler's home free. Those guys were really coming on him. I thought that they were going to have a shot this last lap of getting at him, but it doesn't look like it's going to work that way. But Bowden here, coming up to the last turn 14 right now, and doing an excellent job of driving right from the start. Had to work through traffic a little bit. Had some good luck with Mason's problem, but
he'll be able to look back at this weekend saying, man, we had it going on Sunday. Here he is up the hill. Checker flag is going to be in the hands of our starter, folks. Your national champion in GT2, Mark Bowden, in the number 96, scores the win. A great drive for him. Just a fantastic run. All 13 laps. Mark Bowden is your winner. At least 12 seconds back. He really was dominant near the end there. Kept putting great laps down. Here comes your driver in 2nd spot, the number 2 of Mark Jurczyk. And to cap off the podium in our GT2 category, coming up the hill as well in his Nissan, it will be Jim Goffrey, your reigning champion, coming back to 3rd place here today at Road America.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Oh, and a great lap on his last lap. He dropped it down to 20.8. So the car had some speed in it someplace. He just wasn't able to show it at the right time. But Jurczyk, that was a great result, especially starting in the 8th place and getting through. Now, there was some attrition up front, but it was still a great race for him to come up, and he had to hold off Goffrey for a lot of laps then when Goffrey, by the looks of that last lap, had some speed in that car, but he was able to hold him off, so that was a great race for him. And then we got Wheeler coming across in 4th place. Great finish for him, and Gray.
Yeah, I remember Wheeler coming up from further back in the field, too, if I'm not mistaken. Wheeler was a little further back, able to come up from 13th position to 4th spot. That's a good run for Mike Wheeler.
That is a good run. Good clear run, and, you know, he kind of ran by himself most of the time, but it was still a good run, and to get back up from that spot he was in and get by a few of the folks that he got by at that time, because those guys behind him did qualify faster than him, and he was able to get by him.
So this is the cool down lap where this driver realized he's got the job done. Mark Bowden able to get the hand out the window there. Celebrate a little bit here before coming up here to pit lane. You know, stay with us, folks. We got our interviews coming up with our top 3 drivers in GT2. A great race there for Mark Bowden. On the other side of this one, we have Formula 500 on the hot grid getting set to go. Stick with us. Our interviews with our top 3 drivers in GT2 next up here on SpeedcastTV.com.
Kid, where you been?
Just got back from an SCCA event.
Really?
Yeah, SCCA has more than 2,000 events every year.
Serious?
Go to SCCA.com and find people in your area that drive fast and get their hands dirty. And you don't have to be a supercar to compete.
So I go to SCCA.com, sign up, and I can start competing?
It's that easy.
Welcome back to Road America. Just saw a fantastic performance in GT2 by the number 96 of Mark Bowden. As he rolls his way up pit lane here, John Bizignano will be waiting for him alongside the gold medal that Bowden will win here from scoring this national championship.
Well, that race was kind of a surprise because you expect Dwayne Davis to have a heck of a run there, and he's off on the first lap and not able to get going again. And we had Mason, who got the great start and pulled out a long way, and then he had an engine problem. You know, we've had just a lot of attrition in this race that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, who we lose? We lost a bunch of guys early on in that race for sure. We lost Jerry Mason, who had taken the lead. We lost him early. We lost Dwayne Davis, your 8-time national champion. He went out. Scott Ferguson, the driver in his first year, didn't even get a lap in here this time. Yeah. Rough one for him, but of course our driver's getting ready down there. There he is, folks. Down with John Bizignano, your national champion in GT2, Mark Bowden.
Mark, congratulations.
Yes.
Mark, congratulations. Take on some water there, buddy.
Yeah.
Were, working those opening laps. Tell us about those first few laps. It wasn't your race then.
Yeah, I got up to second right away, and I don't know what happened to Dwayne's car, and the Nissan blew up in front of me pretty badly. Turn 5 was a mess.
I bet you were happy about that. I mean, not that he blew up, but that he wasn't in front of you anymore. There was a lot of power in that Nissan.
I'd love to race him. I'd rather race him than run away with it. It's always funner to get out there and compete. And boy, that was fun. What a great event. My guys are just rock stars.
Let's talk about that for a second. You went off track in some oil in qualifying. You did it in the whole left side of the car, did in the steering rack. They towed the car back down to Chicago, got it fixed. Well, you tell the rest of the story.
Well, they worked feverishly to get it fixed up right before we got everything fixed up. We're ready to load. We realized that the steering shaft, the steering column was broken, and we left the shop at 3:05 and got here at 5:20. Unloaded and got out and qualified.
Well, it all paid off. What a great effort.
Stars, and I'd like to send best wishes out to Mike Tracy. Hope he's doing real well and gets out of there quickly. And thank my whole crew and my family and my kids for being out here, and all the SCCA workers and SCCA for putting on such an awesome event.
Well, congratulations on a championship and a Triple Crown. You got the triple.
No, I did not.
I was told you did, but. Well, you would know better than I would. Next year, the Triple Crown.
Here all year. Mark Jerzik was a great competitor all year, and we battled, and it's good to see us up 1-2.
Congratulations on a great championship.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, the Double Mark Show. Mark 2. I'll tell you, this man qualified 8th, came rushing through the field. Tell us about that drive up to the top cars, just the first few laps.
I know I qualified badly. A friend of mine crashed in the qualifying, Mike Tracy Jr. I went to hospital to visit him, and affected me tremendously. I couldn't qualify whatsoever. So this one is for you, Mikey. I love you, man, and I hope you're going to feel better soon. Yeah, I had a great start. I went through the field fast. I was trying to keep up with Mark. Obviously, he was too fast for me today, but maybe we're going to catch him next time.
But you also had a great race. A lot of pressure from behind from that Nissan.
Yeah, Jim was very quick. I was trying to hold them off in a couple corners. I was a little bit faster out of turn 1, but he's a phenomenal driver, so I'm glad he finished third.
Could you have hooked up and maybe made a run for the front, or was there just too much speed out of that Porsche?
No, our cars are pretty equally matched, but he had a little bit lags on me from the beginning, and then I just broke the draft and I couldn't keep up. But good for him. I'm happy he won.
Congratulations on a great silver medal. Congratulations on a great second place.
Thank you. Porsche. There's no substitute.
Okay. Congratulations to Porsche then. Well, Jim Goffrey won't be taking home his 4th championship this year. But, Jim, I've got to say to you, I've never seen you try so hard, buddy.
I was trying for sure. The Cup cars have a little straight line speed on us, so, we had to try to make it work in the corners and under braking, and I think he might have been slowing me up just a little bit. We can turn a pretty similar lap time, but they're hard to race with at this track.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have gone by that Porsche, I think you might have been able to challenge both of them.
Well, there would have been one more to get by, but they have so much straight line advantage here. It's just difficult to race with them here unless you can get them to make a mistake. And
so what happened with the spin?
Well, I was quicker than him in the braking area for the last corner, and I locked up a wheel and slipped off the outside. And then once I was on the grass, I just didn't have any grip and went around.
Well, listen, a bronze medal to go with your 3 goals, not so bad.
No, not so bad. We'll be back next year and try again.
Congratulations, and he will be back for his 4th championship in this very competitive class.
I think that what he's going to do is go home and find out, it's going to happen in a lot of classes where guys have come out here and found out that the setup they have may not be good racing setups for this racetrack. Now they can go back home, get a car ready for next year that they feel will run for the runoffs, because whatever you finish during the year isn't as important. You use the year for development. You want to be fast at now Road America. It wasn't here last year. This is a new deal for the guys, and they're finding out that maybe they ought to have a car that's a little more aero and not so much downforce, and they'll work on that. And I think that guys like Goffrey will go back and say, hey, okay, guys, what are we going to do to be fast at Elkhart Lake?
That's something we really only touched on a little bit over the last couple of days, but the fact that these guys are going to be able to figure out what they got to do to their cars. They have a better baseline, but in these cars, these GT classes, the touring classes, they can say, hey, you know what? I need a car that's going to be able to do this at this racetrack, and that's what you just said. Let's have a look there at our official finisher, our unofficial results, rather. Of course, we got to go through tech still. Mark Bowden is your winner in the number 96. Mark Jurczyk comes home in 2nd. Jim Goffrey was 3rd. Mike Wheeler was 4th. Tim Gray in the 5th spot. Michael Mills in 6th position. Gerson Rosenberg in 7th. Bill Alleman in 8th spot. Jim Blakewell in 9th. Bob Lentz in the number 64 comes home 10th. Charlie Cook and Patrick Cox rounding out your top 12 drivers in our GT2 class. The bottom line there was Mark Bowden got out front after we had some issues with our leader Jerry Mason. Once he was out front, he just didn't make any mistakes and put his head down.